Everybody, to the first episode with Alec Wynn and Chris Coble. I'm one of your co-hosts, Alec Wynn.
Chris Coble here.
First of all, we wanted to do something different. And, Chris and I have talked about doing something like this for quite some time. And so you can tell by our attire, we're casual. We're not here to sell you anything. We're not being endorsed by anybody. This podcast is about letting you look under the hood of the industry of commercial real estate. And hopefully on this journey that we are going to take you guys on, you'll see the ins and outs of commercial real estate. And really, this is about opening doors. Because for us, we started in this business at different times. I started back in 1994. And it was a lot different, the business was a lot different then than it is now, but some of the same things still hold true. And so what we wanted to do was to tell you guys a little bit about our journey and then show you the ins and outs of this business.
Well, yeah, and so this business is interesting. It's kind of clandestine, and that's what we're hoping to help you navigate through. We want to make this a lot easier than it was for Alec and I. I started in 2004, and the reason I got into commercial real estate is I was actually working for a big company, and I was managing their real estate portfolio. And I'm looking at this stuff. I'm looking at these properties. We had this property in New Jersey, and I'm looking at it. I'm managing it. And I had a broker in New Jersey, and basically all he did was he wrote up a property contract, and at the end of the day, he made $100,000. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at my corporate salary, and I'm like, I'm not close to $100,000. This guy wrote a contract and made $100,000, and I'm thinking to myself, I could do this. Yeah. Clearly, I'm on the wrong side of this equation. How do I get on his side of that? And so that's when I knew that I wanted to get into commercial real estate, because I knew I could do what he was doing even better than he was doing it. And so I immediately got a license, immediately joined a big corporation on the commercial real estate side, so I could learn the business, learned as fast as I could. And I actually, at the firm that I joined in 2004, that's when I met Alec. So serendipity, man, and all these years later, us bringing this information to you, that's how we want to do it.
Yeah, and then what I'd like to add to what Chris just shared is, to give you a little bit more look into what it was like for us when we started. Started in 1994. I started in Denver, Colorado, which is where we still are. We both are here in Denver. There were 5 African Americans in the business at that time. And so when I used to joke with my colleagues when I started, because I would say, well, my first goal was I wanted to be the top African American, professional. Well, I did that in 18 months. And so then I was like, oh, okay, I guess I need to have another goal. And so the goal was, okay, I wanted to be in the top 30 brokers. But as I went through the industry, I kept being the only one in the room. And so again, the work that Chris and I are going to do with you all is yes, we want to see more people of color in the business, but the tools and the fundamentals that we're going to teach you about creating real wealth is for anybody. All right, but we do have a responsibility to our own communities, and hopefully you'll see some of that as we go through this. But we really want to get you to understand how do you get in this business? Because when we started, we probably got referred in from some people in our networks. And when I started, I knew that this was an industry that I wanted to get into. I had done a lot of research, and it was down to commercial real estate or investment banking. And so kind of like Chris's story, I didn't see someone make $100,000. A good friend of mine was already at a brokerage firm. It was Grubb & Ellis at the time, which is not around anymore. They dismantled. But he took me around his office and pointed to the producers in his office. Now, mind you, in 1994, I had just graduated from college. And he's showing me around his office, and he goes, these guys make a lot of money. And he goes, see that guy over there? And this guy barely looked 24. and he was making $300,000 a year. And he goes, and see the guys all in the private offices? Those guys are all making over $750,000 a year. And I was like, American? So I'm like, you're not talking pesos, right? And so I was like, wow, okay, dang, how do I get in this business? And he says, well, you need to know someone. And I'm like, well, I know you, can you hook me up? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So that's how I got into the business back in '94. I interviewed with Grubb & Ellis back in Los Angeles, and that's where I started. And then very quickly realized I didn't want to be there, so I moved here. But yeah, so it's a very interesting business, and still to this day in 2025, you still pretty much need to know somebody to get in. This industry does a very poor job of reaching out to colleges and universities around the country, and I would also say the same for high school. So the work that Chris and I are going to do together starts here. We were trying to figure out how we reach the most people the fastest, and we thought this would be the best way. We've gone into elementary schools, high schools, and universities trying to get the word out about this industry, but we're hopeful that this will really do the job. So let me stop there, and we're going to talk to you a little bit more about our stories and our background, and then we'll end, and hopefully you guys will tune in for episode 2 next week.
Yeah, and we want this to be as direct as possible and real. This is not an easy industry, especially on the brokerage side, but the industry itself is so much more than brokerage. You have design, so architecture, you have engineering, you've got construction, you've got banking and finance. I mean, all of these components come into making these things happen, and what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through a lot of those different sections so you have a solid understanding of the overall industry. And whether you want to be a participant, maybe you want to get into brokerage, maybe you want to get into finance or whatever it might be, maybe you just simply want to buy and sell your own real estate. All of that is fine. Our goal is to just make sure that you've got terminology, you've been walked through what the concepts are, the lingo, how things flow, the pace of things, what they require. We want to make sure that you have all that information. And so, my journey into this was a little bit upside down because I started working for the city of Denver, and I was working in the public sector, and I navigated all of that and kept bumping into this commercial real estate thing. I kept meeting commercial real estate developers. I kept meeting people that were in construction and design, and I just was attracted to it. I didn't know much about it, but I was attracted to it, and I knew I just wanted to start figuring it out. So I just took opportunities to take on mentors. I had a couple of mentors that were real estate developers, and so they were very, very kind to me. They shared information like kind of what Alec and I are doing right now. We're just sharing information. I got that benefit and was able to build that repertoire and my knowledge in commercial real estate that led me to that experience I told you about earlier, where I was like, this guy, how can this guy make $100,000 off of writing on a piece of paper? And so after doing that in 2004 until now, I've been on that side. I've seen it from a lot of different perspectives. So the goal here is we want to just open the doors, want to open the floodgates. We want this to be easier for you than it was for Alec and I, and that's the goal.
Yeah, and then lastly, what we want to leave you with is the whole mission for the work that Chris and I are going to do together here is to teach you guys how to create real wealth. We were fortunate enough in our careers to have mentors that showed us the ropes, and now that we've figured it out, we're really passionate and we're excited about the next 10, 15, 20 years because we keep dreaming bigger and bigger about where we want to take this now that we've had some success, and it's relative, right? And so that's one of the things that you'll see from our working together with, and hopefully as you guys tune in with this, you'll see that we're just real folks. I mean, we're not getting paid to do this. This is just coming from a deep passion that we have about helping others and bringing others up along with us on our journey. And so as we go through this, we're going to show you real examples of how we created, like for one example, we took a $120,000 investment, turned it into $650,000. In other cases, not quite so dramatic, but the goal here is to teach all of you how to make $1 million plus. And we're going to go through all of this stuff in detail with you as we go through this work together. But we're excited about you joining us on this journey, and our commitment to you is we're going to be transparent, authentic, and we'll try to make these very difficult concepts as simple as we possibly can. So thank you for tuning in to episode 1, and we'll see you next week for episode 2.
Yeah, indeed.
All right.
Indeed.
Be blessed.
Be blessed. Take care.
Talk soon.